Let's start with a sentence that makes people uncomfortable immediately. Most men don't have a women problem. They have a respect problem. Because if women respected effort alone, every tired man with good intentions would be winning right now. But they're not. And no, this isn't because women are evil, broken, or too picky. It's because respect doesn't respond to trying harder. It responds to who you are when nothing is working. This is not dating advice. This is not relationship coaching. This is human philosophy. Because if women were truly impossible to understand, humanity would have gone extinct around the Stone Age, right after the first man said, "Relax, it's not that deep." Today we're talking about respect, not attraction, not butterflies, not, "She replied fast, so she must like me." Respect, the kind that stays when looks fade, money fluctuates, and life starts throwing problems you didn't order. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't respect most men. Not because men are bad, but because most men never become this kind of man. Let's talk about that. Section 1. Respect is not niceness. First mistake a lot of men make. They confuse niceness with respect. Niceness says, "I'll do anything so you won't leave." Respect says, "I'll do what's right even if you don't like it." And let's be honest for a second. Most nice men aren't actually nice. They're strategic, polite with expectations, helpful with hidden invoices, patient but only until they feel owed. And when the reward doesn't come, they don't feel disappointed, they feel cheated. Which is strange because nobody agreed to the deal. Niceness is often fear wearing good manners, fear of conflict, fear of disapproval, fear of being alone with your thoughts in a microwave meal. Humans, especially women, can sense that fear instantly. A man who changes his personality mid-conversation just to be liked isn't kind. He's negotiating his identity. And nobody respects a man who rents himself out for approval. Section 2. The man with a spine. Women respect men who have a spine, not an attitude, not aggression, not shouting, "I'm the man," like it's a password. A spine means you can say no without apologizing for existing. You don't fold under emotional pressure. You don't betray your values just to keep peace. Peace built on self-betrayal always turns into resentment. And resentment is loud, even when you say nothing. Some men think being agreeable makes them lovable. Yes, in reality, it makes them easy to ignore. A man with a spine doesn't dominate a room. He doesn't threaten. He doesn't posture. He just doesn't move when something violates him. That stillness, that's loud. Section 3. Direction. Beats motivation. Here's a truth people don't like hearing. Women don't respect men who are motivated. They respect men who are directed. Motivation is loud. Direction is calm. Motivation says, "I'm about to start something big." Direction says, "I already started. I'm adjusting as I go." Motivation is emotional caffeine. It hits hard, wears off, and leaves you crashing. Direction is boring, and boring is powerful. A man with direction doesn't need pep talks. He doesn't outsource belief in himself. He knows where he's going, or at least knows what he's not doing anymore. And that clarity is magnetic, not because it's impressive, but because it's rare. Section 4. Emotional regulation, not suppression. Let's clear this up before someone misunderstands it. Women do not respect emotionally unavailable men. They respect emotionally regulated men. There's a big difference. A man who explodes over small things? No respect. A man who shuts down and disappears emotionally? Also no respect. But a man who can feel anger, disappointment, jealousy, and still choose his response? That's power. Being emotional isn't the problem. Being uncontained is. A man who can pause before reacting is telling everyone, "I'm not dangerous to myself." That's rare. And rarity creates value. Section 5. He doesn't chase validation. Here's a hard pill to swallow. A man who constantly seeks validation teaches people how to treat him. If you need applause for basic decency, if you need reassurance for every decision, if you need permission to trust yourself, you're handing over authority. The man women respect doesn't beg to be understood. He explains himself once. clearly, calmly. Then he lets people decide. Clarity doesn't need agreement, and confidence doesn't need applause. Section 6. Self-respect in private. Women respect men who respect themselves when no one is watching. Not on social media, not in public, not during first impressions. Privately. Do you keep promises to yourself? Do you walk away from what disrespects you? Do you choose dignity over comfort? Self-respect is quiet, but it echoes. What you tolerate alone becomes your baseline, and people can feel that baseline without you saying a word. Section 7. He doesn't center his life around women. This part makes people uncomfortable, and women don't respect men who make women the center of their lives. That doesn't mean you don't value relationships. It means your life isn't empty without one. When a man has nothing going on, love becomes pressure. Pressure kills respect. A man with purpose doesn't chase connection to fill a void. He invites connection into a life that's already moving. Independence isn't cold. It's stable. Section 8. Accountability without excuses. Here's a simple test. When things go wrong, what do? Blame women? Blame society? Blame timing? Or do you say, okay, that didn't work. What's my part in this? Women respect men who take responsibility, not because they're perfect, but because they're honest. Excuses signal helplessness. Accountability signals power. Section 9. Calm confidence beats loud dominance. Let's end a myth. Respect does not come from being the loudest or toughest man in the room. That's insecurity wearing confidence. The man women respect doesn't need to prove he's a man. He's too busy being one. He doesn't compete unnecessarily. He doesn't argue to win. He doesn't posture. He knows who he is. And that settles the room. So here's the philosophy in one sentence. Women respect men who are grounded, directed, emotionally steady, and deeply aligned with themselves. Not perfect men, not rich men. Not men with the best lines, men who don't abandon themselves to be chosen. And the wild part? Women don't respect men who want respect. They respect men who are too aligned with themselves to beg for it. The moment a man becomes this kind of man, respect stops being something he asks for. It becomes something people offer without realizing why. If this made you uncomfortable, good. Growth usually is. Tell me in the comments, which part hit you hardest? And if you want more honest human philosophy like this, subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone who still thinks being nice is the same as being respected.